Hello, one and all, and welcome once again to an exciting adventure here on Wanderer's Haven. My name is Kevin. I'll be your host this evening and your game master for the game that we're sampling today. It's a new game that's currently on Kickstarter from our friends over at Evil Genius Games. You might know them from having previously created the really awesome, cool, and badass game that we've already played here on the channel, Everyday Heroes, which is the new modern take on the 5th edition rule set. In that game, you can play modern day heroes with their own twists and turns as they try to navigate adventures. So, we're going to be doing the same system with one of their new games currently on Kickstarter. The Legendary Bundle is a new rule set in which you can play heroes in both the Pacific Rim movie series as well as the Kong Skull Island movie series. And we're excited to be showcasing some of that with some really cool players, as you see sitting here with me right now. Yes, as I mentioned, I'm Kevin. I'll be your host, your game master. Before we get into introducing everybody, I want to thank Evil Genius Games for letting us play this and showcasing it here tonight. The Kickstarter is live. You can find it on the link down below someplace. It's floating around me. And the campaign does close tomorrow, but I do know that it is fully funded already with lots of stretch goals unlocked. So, grab yourself a piece of the action, get on in there, and tell them that we sent you because we're cool. So, so let's meet our players tonight before we get into it. Short and sweet. We'll tell you who we are, and we'll save our big, long, drawn-out things for the end. But let's start with my good buddy and yours, Jhevaunte. What's happening, my man?
Howdy, everybody. My name's Jhevaunte, resident TTRPG goblin. I'm super excited to be in this. I've been a big kaiju fan since I was itty bitty little, so being invited to do a game with kaijus in it is going to be awesome.
Oh, yes. I would not have it any other way, my friend. Love sharing the table with you, so this is going to be a blast. So thanks for being here. And other player this evening, also a good friend of mine and one of the co-producers here on the channel, Miko. How is it going, good sir?
Hi, it's going decently well. Looking forward to this. I like Jhevaunte, have been a pretty big kaiju universe fan for a good chunk of my life. You throw in giant robots into the mix, and I am a happy camper. So looking forward to getting to run around a little bit and stomp some things in with big robot feet.
Oh yes, perfect. Excellent. Well, yeah, we're going to dive in. We're just going to play a nice little cool adventure where we're going to be marrying some of these new rules and give you a taste of what all is out there in case you're on the fence about backing this really cool Kickstarter. So let's dive in, shall we, boys? Here we go.
Go for it.
All right. So we begin with a vast, cool, dark blue ocean. And as we move across this ocean, a shadow begins to emerge and cut across the surface. It is a suspended humanoid shape that is supported by two large helicopters with multiple propellers on the top. These helicopters have a specific logo upon the side that marks them as that they are part of an organization that does these drops quite frequently. The large humanoid shape beneath the Jaeger, known as the Hyperion, swings almost lifelessly in the air from giant cables and chains. Within already, two Jaeger pilots who are bonded both to one another and to the device itself. There's a mission at hand today, and as they make their way across the blue dark ocean, we will see that up ahead, the land of an island begins to cut into our view. It is a semi-C-shaped island full of luscious fauna, trees, mountains to the north, and as we approach, both of our Jaeger pilots come into view as we zoom down in through the front faceplate of the Jaeger mech and into their cockpit. If we could, let's take a moment, let's tell the folks at home what do they see when we see our co-pilots, Ranger Beta and Ranger Delta, as they are in the co-piloting place, cockpit as it were. Let's go and start with Miko. Tell us, what do we see when Pete Barnes comes into focus?
Yeah, so Pete Barnes is in his early 20s, still has some of that young appearance about him. He is not what you would consider to be perhaps one of the most experienced of pilots within the Corps. at this point, or at this stage anyway, but he shows a lot of promise. Like most of his life, where he has showed promise, though, usually he's fallen on his face. But it seems like this becoming a Jaeger pilot has been the one thing that he has done well and managed to continue to stick with. He has, not that you can see his shaggy brown hair underneath of the glorious helmet and resplendent armor-like uniform that Jaeger pilots wear, but his looks maybe a little bit uncomfortable, like he doesn't quite fit, that he still hasn't quite fully grown into it. And he has a bit of a cocky expression on his face as they're sitting in rest mode, as it were, waiting for the helicopters to release the Hyperion down into the where it's a little bit more shallow and they don't have to trudge their way across the ocean.
Yes, absolutely. Pete in this moment is, although, like he said, in resting mode, he is connected into the Jaeger and also into his co-pilot. They are connected through the drift, a unique connection that the co-pilots of these devices share, in which they share part of each other's spirit, mind, and reflexes and movements. His partner, directly to the next of him, is a individual who is no stranger to piloting these vessels. Ranger Delta is very much different than Ranger Beta. Jhevaunte, please take a moment, tell us a little bit about Adam Vane.
Adam Vane is a tall, stocky built man. Underneath the helmet, you can see a bit of a mismatch of there's a couple patterns of tattoos that layer around one side of his face. He is very dark-skinned. His head is completely shaved bald, as opposed to the typical military cut. He has a very grizzled look on his face. In his upper 40s, pushing into 50, he has a very stoic expression. It's not a lack of emotion, but it's we're here for a job, I don't have the time to be thinking about anything but what we're doing kind of look on his face. And you can see that even though he's trying to be still, a part of him constantly has to move or shift left or right, as if he's making sure that he still has his muscles and reflexes going.
Absolutely.
I love the fact, by the way, that the two of us are playing age reversal.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Love it. Alrighty. So, as the two of you make your way, continuing to hang there, there is a moment that you share this silence, this preparation that you both have. And in that moment, you both are battle-hardened warriors to a certain extent from one another. Vane, you've been doing this for some time, and Barnes, you are a little bit newer, but you have seen combat together. One of the main things that the Jaegers do, you move around these missions where you hunt down kaiju, large beasts that are known to come from a strange parallel universe dimension that is released through the rift down below the surface of the waves. One such creature has been spotted in the nearby area. Scans have confirmed that there is one on this island, and it poses quite a threat due to some strange radioactive signatures that it has upon its body. As the helicopters continue to carry you along, you hear the sounds of those above who take you. We are quickly approaching Skull Island. You will be reticent to know that everything seems to be on the up and up. The radioactive signature of the kaiju has been seen on the northern section of the island. It appears that there is no untypical activity on the island otherwise. You would find that the mission is complete disco.
We got a confirmation yet on the category, sir?
It's one of the big ones, guys. This kaiju is one that's not entirely messing around. It's Titanic size, of course. You're going to find that this kaiju, we're not entirely sure of its exact parameters, but we are utilizing that it is Category V. Category V is a typical size that you all would fight, a little bit bigger than the norm, but nothing that you guys have not faced before. And you'll know that something this size, you'll see it in plenty of time to react to it. As you continue along, however, there is suddenly a sound again from above as they continue. And what we'd like to do is we'd make. What the hell is that? Hey, are you guys seeing us down below? You both look out the front view screen of the Jaeger's visor, and what you see is on the northern section of the island, there appears to be some sort of energy building. It almost looks like there is a pulse wave that continues to grow, something that moves and spreads and waves out from a centralized point just outside of view on the horizon. The trees and the mountains seem to obscure where the power source is coming from. But as the power source gets larger, let's have both of you please make a perception check. Just like in our typical favorite D in D 5th edition, we're going to roll D20s and we're going to add our skill rankings that we have for these specific skills. So D20 plus your guys' perception skill bonuses.
Oh, I should probably roll a d20 instead of a d12, huh?
That might help. It might help.
Could be helpful.
Yeah.
Let's try this again. Yeah, that's
think so.
definitely better. I got a 19, which is
Okay.
good because I have a 0 modifier to my perception.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That is a 15 for me.
Okay. You both notice that in the growing energy, this bright greenish blue energy that continues to grow and pulsate out of this section of the island, there is a large shadowy form that moves up and over a ridge and begins to move towards the energy source. This large figure, it stops for a moment at the top of the ridge and it looks down almost as if studying the energy. It slowly turns to regard your vehicle approaching, and as that happens, it turns in your direction and starts moving. It's still bathed in the light. It is a silhouette. You cannot tell exactly what it is, but as it continues to move, the pulse waves continue to grow and grow, and suddenly, as they continue to grow, there is a flash much brighter than should be expected, and it waves out, crossing the entire island. The water around where you guys are directly above begins to evaporate and burn away as the energy pulses through it. And some of the sand beneath gets burned and stained into glass as the heat and the radiation from it burns and ripples across, making its way towards you. Suddenly, there is a lurch, and your Hyperion, you feel, disconnects at the right shoulder. It would seem that above, the cable and chain that keep it taut have snapped, been dislocated, removed. You're not entirely sure. There is suddenly sounds over the radio that you have heard. Oh, prepare! And then
Well, shit.
you drop. You go flying down towards the water. You're not that high up, as you mentioned. And as you hit the water, there is a large cacophonous splash. As you hit, a lot of that water rushes back into the area that was emptied by the pulse wave. Let's have both of you, however, make dexterity saving throws to make sure you keep your balance. I'm going to give you both advantage because you are currently hooked up into the cradle of the Jaeger. So
I'm ready. So that is a total of 22.
nice.
Pete Barnes.
That is a total of dirty 20 for Adam.
Excellent. The two of you have enough of that combat skill to react and kind of buckle in, grab a hold of something, steady yourselves, dig your legs into the harnesses that hold you in place. And as such, the Hyperion has time to react. And as it falls, it rights itself and lands both feet onto the sand beneath the waves. And with a crash, the water again ripples out and recedes back in as the energy source pulses across the island again and then suddenly stops.
Do we still see any of the like energy rippling effect of it, or did it just pulse and then vanish entirely?
You can see as you look across the surface of the island, there are sections where trees still glow with this strange ethereal light, this blue and green energy that just dances across the edges of the fronds of the trees. It does burn away at some of the mountainside you see, but it's no longer glowing and illuminating light. It's rather just kind of trickling, almost like cinders and embers as they continue to die as a fire begins to get smaller and more calm.
Adam, you think that was that might have been a rift, maybe?
Potentially. Could also be that whatever creature we are hunting for has in version of an EMP burst.
Well, fuck. All right.
You doing all right over there? That fall did not crush your spirit, did it?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. And like you can tell through the connection that we have, the drift, that he's not fine, but he is doing his best to keep his emotions in check. I just ain't too fancy on getting sparked up with some EMPs. They kind of mess with me a bit.
Fair enough. Well, cheer up. Consider this an island vacation.
Yeah, no. I've seen better island vacations in prison.
Florida is not an island, and we should get moving.
Look, just because I'm from Pensacola doesn't mean that I like the damn place, all right?
Absolutely. The two of you working in unison begin to fire up the Jaeger and bring it up fully into its fully charged capabilities. Systems begin to turn on almost through your will, but also you do make physical movements to turn levers and enact startup procedures and things of this nature. As you both look up eventually into the sky, you will see that both of the helicopters that were carrying you along are gone. You can see the last remnants of their pieces drifting down out of the sky and landing in the water around you. It would seem whatever that explosion did, the helicopters were not enough to sustain it, so they have been destroyed. Apparently alone here.
That is going to make things very difficult.
Let's hope that the Shadow Dome is keeping an eye on us and knows to send somebody to come and pick us up when we're done with this.
Hopefully. If not, we're going to have to figure out another way to get their attention.
I'm sure that won't be hard given the way this island seems to be creeping me the fuck out.
Fair enough. Keep your eyes peeled and your senses sharp.
Missile launchers at the ready, sir.
Advancing forward.
Advancing.
Absolutely.
We start trudging on.
Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of a hiccup, we'll say, as you began to start up procedures. As you begin to move, you feel a little bit of resistance in the legs of the Jaeger, almost as if they are taking a little bit longer to spool up than necessary. I would like you both, please, to do a group test, both of you, to make a piloting check to see if you can work in unison to get through this. There's a set difficulty class, or DC, that you each have to pass in order to be successful. But because it is a group test, the difficulty with that is kind of closer than it typically would be if you were doing this alone, because you're working in tandem. So,
all right. And what's the sorry, I'm new to this. So what is the piloting skill based on?
The piloting skill is going to be a dexterity-based skill.
And it's assumed, I guess, that we have proficiency?
I would think so, especially with Jaegers, yep.
Okay. Well, dexterity is what I'm good at. So let's see. Oh!
That's a 17 for me.
17? Okay.
Glad somebody got double digits, because I got a 9.
Oof.
Okay. As
My bonus is +7.
Oh. Yikes.
Oh.
Okay. As you continue to trudge along, where are you positioned, Barnes? Are you on the left hemisphere or the right hemisphere of the control unit here?
I think Barnes is probably right-brained, so he would be positioned on the left hemisphere.
Okay. You can feel that there is a little bit of a pull on the left leg of the Hyperion. It seems to not be fully functioning. Maybe some of the servos aren't completely fired up, but as you continue to move, you are still moving, but it seems to have, for lack of a better description, a little bit of a hitch in the step. It has almost like you are moving with a little bit of a limp to the Hyperion. This large mechanized warrior is walking with a limp. It's seen some better days, it would seem. But as you get closer to the island, there's no other disturbances. You get up to where the rich sands are, and as you are here, there is suddenly a well, not suddenly, there is an HUD, a heads-up display that comes up on the side so you all can see, and it says that Skull Island is such known due to the fact that of its shape. It appears to look like a skull emerging up out of the waters here. It says that it is an island that there is no known lore specifically pertaining to Skull Island, but it does have extensive accounts of lost lands in the Pacific Ocean around it that have had kaiju activity in the past. It would seem that there was once a rift that was here that was sealed. It's classified exactly how it was sealed by an organization called Monarch a few years ago. You're not entirely sure what that was about, but it does bring up that information.
Interesting. So why I have the issues with it now? I've never heard of rifts reopening.
I mean, anything's possible, I guess, especially when you're talking about a place like this. It's a little ominous, if I do say so myself. Give me a second here. I'm going to see if I can kickstart this a bit. Kevin, I would like to attempt to use my mechanics skill to try and boost or partially activate. I don't want to go full on catalyst here with our ionic reinforced musculature that increases our speed, but I want to try to like jury rig that out to fire up that leg so that we're not quite as hampered as we normally would be. Is that all right?
Absolutely, yeah, I love that. Let's go ahead. Let's have you make a. You could do one of two things. You could either approach this specifically as a mechanics role. You're going to do some sort of actual hard physical repair, something where you got to move, and change gears, or physically construct something. Or you could try this through a subroutine of the computer system, which would therefore require a computer's check. Leave it up to you.
Definitely mechanics for me.
I figured as much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Pete's an engineer by trade, so
Absolutely.
Well, while you are doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and have Adam just do a quick run through of the weapons checks, just making sure that everything else seems to be working properly.
Absolutely, yeah. If you could then, while he is making that check for the mechanics, if you could, Adam, go ahead and make a security roll to see exactly how that's all fired up.
Good.
I got an 18 on my mechanics check.
Oh, great. Okay. As you begin the repairs, Pete, you're going to see that from the nearby subroutine space just on the outside of the Jaeger's hull, there is a small little device that pulls off. Sparky, your drone that follows you and you have a direct connection with, swoops down in
right.
toward where the damage is.
I can actually, I forgot about that. I can actually use my drone to make mechanics checks and use my my perks. What are they called? Plans and tricks.
Yeah, your plans.
Yeah,
And your
I forgot that my little drone guy can do that stuff for me. So yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, he flies down towards the knee joint of the Jaeger, and you see he floats about a foot or so away from it, and sparks and little gizmos come out, little wrenches and things of this nature, as he begins to go to work. And he starts repairing what seems to be some sort of busted hydraulic coil that's there.
I got
Awesome.
13 on my end. That's
15?
check. 13.
13, okay. That's still enough to do it. Yeah, you run through, you would see that all of your weapon systems are fully functional. So if you could, go ahead, if you could, Adam, tell us a little bit about what sort of weaponry this Jaeger has, this Hyperion.
So Comet Hyperion is a very thickly armored Jaeger. Probably a lot less so. Gypsy Danger was a much more lightly armored.
Hyperion's chunky.
Yeah, Hyperion is chunky.
Yeah.
It's a tank-based. Hyperion is honestly more like Cherno Alpha. Its weapon systems are the thrust kicker, which is integrated into the right foot. It's essentially just the boosters on the right foot activate, swing the leg around, super kick.
Nice.
It also has an anti-kaiju missile launcher, which are not mounted. These are the attached missiles. They are explosives designed to take out a lot more like Class B kaijus. And the Y11 Revolution cannons, which are both mounted on the arms. Think of those as similar to more like machine gunner fire or anti-air fire, but they also are designed to take out kaijus.
Absolutely. Yes. And yeah, they're all online. They
Hey,
are fully operational.
hang on, don't forget the gravity sling, dude.
Yes,
That's
it
like my
equally
favorite
has,
part.
Yeah, the thing with the Code of Hyperion is it has the gravity sling, which allows it to pick up and throw things, or more accurately, yeet kaiju and buildings.
Nice.
Uh,
Love it.
a long distance away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, like it can do things up to 8 spaces for the toppling buildings and throwing massive objects and stuff. And a space, I think, is like 60 feet.
Yeah.
Yes, in the Titan size combat scale that you're going to use with battling in a Jaeger, yeah, it's pretty large area. It's not the 5-foot squares we're all used to. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big area. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And also, anything that we pick up is utilized as an improvised weapon. So, you know.
Yeah, you are a combat tank for sure. You definitely have seen some battle. There is a little bit of some old scarring, some different where sparks or actually claw marks have made different indentations on part of the chassis, but you guys left those for, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of a reminiscence.
Stick scars.
That's exactly right. As you guys step onto the sands, there is suddenly a sound that cuts through the tranquil silence of the day. It is loud and encompassing, and as it begins to grow in intensity, it can only be one sound and one sound alone. It is a roar, something bestial. A beast is making its presence known, and as the roar ripples out over the island, it gives you one distinct impression, which is, this is its island, and you're not welcome here. The roar echoes across everything, and you actually can feel it, the timbre of it, in yourselves, despite being inside the Jaeger, despite being inside your combat flight suits. You can still feel this roar. And you notice ahead there is a silhouette that steps up onto that ridge where you saw the silhouette before. Now closer, the silhouette is partially lit from behind due to the last bit of the sun rising behind it. And as you both move in unison to position the Jaeger, the Hyperion, to see what this creature is, you notice unmistakably not a kaiju. This is something different. A nearly 70-foot tall gorilla steps to the top of the ridge and looks down towards you in your Jaeger and does not look pleased. You apparently have met the king of the island, and let's have Mr. King Kong himself, Jeremy, make your presence known, sir. Indeed. The sounds of this beast are there, and let's go ahead, because we can tell the animosity, the savagery that is about to take place. Let's go ahead, let's roll some initiative, everybody.
Nice. Boy. Thankfully, I have advantage on initiative checks and a decent modifier, which is good. 22 for me.
I don't have advantage on my initiatives. That is a 16 for me.
Okay.
Nice.
Kong's letting me down here. I got a 10.
A 10. That's okay. That's okay. Alrighty. So, how it works with the two of you being in a Jaeger, like I said, you are combined, you are working together to pilot the Jaeger itself. However, during the round actions, you do have movements and actions that you can take yourselves that don't have to necessarily be just piloting the Jaeger. So you, in essence, the two of you have, I guess you could say, 3 actions. You're going to have, or 3 turns, I guess you could say, what each of you can do individually, and then you can make joint things happen with the Jaeger, things like attacking, moving, but these things need to be done in unison. So how you would typically do this would be, if you wanted to, let's say, for example, do an all-out attack with the Jaeger's weaponry, the two of you would have to give up your turns to kind of commit to that by doing checks and whatnot to affect that outcome. But if you just want to do something like, say, boost the energy or fix something or create a shield or just go on the defensive, that is something you still could just do on your own individual turn and movement. So we'll have to keep that in mind as part of the action economy of the system, I guess you could say. Um, with that said, Pete Barnes, Ranger Beta, you are, if I'm not mistaken, you are an agile hero.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you rely on your dexterity, your speed, and your grace and movements like this. So if you could, yeah, go ahead. What do you do as you react first?
Um, Given the situation, and I think Pete is not Pete is actually more defensively minded. He tends to want to look for the opportunities more than anything else before he wants to just all out attack. He's not a gun ho hothead kid or anything like that. So I think he's going to go for activating the ionic shields.
Okay, okay, I love that. So the ionic shields, again, part of your system in here. You have to pretty much you have to enact them with your action. In this case, you're going to be making a computers test. Do you have any sort of talents or abilities that aid you in this moment?
In this moment, no, not related to this check. Maybe for other stuff, but let's
That's
see
fine.
here.
Not a
Computers
problem at all.
check. That's a 18.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. You reach in, and again, in a combination of through your mind thinking it and also physically reaching your arm out to have inside, you briefly disconnect from the piloting apparatus that you have to grab onto something and pull it. You fire up the ionic shields, and as you do, you are going to feel a pulsating around the outside of the Jaeger. What this does is it does boost its defense by considerable amount, which we'll get into if it is attacked. But yeah, they're up, they're online, they're ready to go. The servos are operating that way. You can see just in the corner of your vision that down below, Sparky does manage to just move out of the way as they close. They don't close him inside, and he just floats away for a moment, watches, sees what's going on, and he just kind of starts floating back up towards where your guys' head would be to just get out of the way. We're going to move right on next to Adam, Ranger Delta. What are you doing, sir? Our grizzled veteran. You are a tough hero, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I am a. One moment while I scroll back up, sort of reading stuff more about the Jaeger. Yeah, he is a tough commando hero.
Absolutely. Yeah, tough heroes, of course, relying on their constitution or their ability to be tough, withstand damage, and take a licking and keep on ticking, as the old saying goes. So, yeah, absolutely. So, grizzled veteran, how do you react? What are you doing now?
We've already gotten our shields up and running. I'm trying to think of something that I can do that'd help us out.
Is there a chunk of something that you can pull up in the gravity sling, maybe? Just to have at the ready to throw?
How far away are the helicopter pieces?
Ooh, they're a distance behind you at this point. I would say realistically, they're about 200 feet behind you because you guys have waded through the surf and are now standing on the beach of Skull Island.
Well, if we're on the beach, then the trees can't be too far ahead of us.
Yeah, I think they're closer to the helicopter pieces.
If it's 200 feet, that's within our 4 spaces away of what we can pick up.
That is within. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to fling that gravity sling around to see if I can pull one of the helicopter blades
Oh, okay.
towards me for an improvised weapon.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. This is going to basically how it works is anything within 4 spaces away, you can just reach in there and grab it as you said, as an improvised weapon. So what we see is because you are on the right half, the right arm shoots back behind the Hyperion, and the arm actually extends. It actually turns long, like almost like it's made out of chain as opposed to a physical arm. It reaches out with a snap, like you're snapping a wet towel. It shoots out, closes around some of these components, and snaps back into place, forming an arm again. With pieces of one of these helicopters, you notice as you pull it up to bear that it is part of the body, and the main helicopter propeller is sticking out the front, sticking out between the fingers, almost like a battle sigh. So yes, you are now armed with an improvised weapon in your gravity sling. I love that. So, however, there is a third enemy, not enemy per se. There is a third person, thing, king, one would say, in this fray as well. Jeremy, for those who might not know, tell us, what do these Jaeger pilots see when Kong makes his presence known?
I mean, you see a enormous, well-built, black fur-covered gorilla that shouldn't exist and yet does, and he's eyeing you and he's looking around at this destruction, and you see as my brow lowers and my eyes squint at you in anger, because obviously you did this to the island.
Of course.
Obviously.
And I begin to beat my chest and roar. And I begin to, like, gallop forward, and as I do, I just put my hands down in the dirt and scoop up rocks and trees and just whatever there is, and then I put it together and I fling it towards you. Now I don't know if it's going to reach. Essentially, I can move 10, and then I would have 12 to go. Like, I can throw something 12 spaces.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Are they, right?
Oh my god.
That's quite a shot put, my friend.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
We move like a geriatric old woman
Oh,
compared to.
sorry.
to
Let
that.
me rephrase that. I can throw something 20 spaces.
Oh,
It is
why
a
not?
disadvantage.
You know,
but-
why not? You know,
Right?
How big were spaces again? Just for funsies here.
They're like
Spaces-
50 or 60 feet or
Yeah,
something
we're gonna
like that.
we're gonna make it a nice round 50 feet number, just so we can keep track of the numberage a little bit better. So yeah, he can throw it up to 1,000 feet,
Yeah.
which is
in feet?
a little bit of that's some Olympiad level stuff right there,
Right.
y'all.
Yeah, he actually, like, pulls out a tree and, like, uses his hand to, like, shave it down into a javelin
the
and just
Skull
like
Island.
Absolutely.
yes.
Alright,
so it
Go
is
ahead,
a
roll the
disadvantage.
attack roll for that then. Yeah. I think you could definitely hit them. They're about, at this point, about 600 feet away from you, so you could definitely hit them.
That's so
You see her
sad.
loud shields up.
So
Yeah.
I'm using my evil genius dice from the
Ooh,
first
excellent.
Kickstarter, and I got the little man, which is
Oh,
a
great.
critical,
It's a natural 20.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
because it is at disadvantage, 14
Oh, thank God.
plus,
Oh my god.
so 27.
Yeah, that still hits.
Okay.
All right. So the Hyperion's defense score is typically 16. However, because the ionic shields are in place, it goes up to 5. Up by 5, excuse me. So it's at a 21. However, you're going to hit.
Yeah, there's just like this rain of trees and debris and rocks just come pelting down, and you can see like it's like sparking your shield as it begins to like penetrate through, and then in that larger boulders begin to smash into you. You're gonna take 32 points of damage,
Okay.
bludgeoning.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
even know what our hit points are.
Yes, the
Oh.
Hyperion, excuse me, has a pool of hit points. But yeah, I don't see that in front of me either. So what we're going to do is we're going to go off of the fact that it has a
Its bulk
Are-
is 12.
it has a bulk score.
Its bulk is 12,
Mhm.
so, or it's the max of 6 plus our pilot's proficiency bonus,
That's
which
it.
is 12.
Yes.
which is 12.
Yeah, so we're going to make it be a bulk of 12. So what that's going to do is all of that damage is going to pretty much, because of
We
the
do
fact
have an
that shield-
armor AV of 4 as well.
Yeah, so it's going to ignore
And my
4.
PV is, well, my PV is 5.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
You just one-shot us.
Yikes. Yeah, so as these debris, trees, rocks, boulders, maybe even what seems to be other pieces of aircraft, like something else crashed here in the past, they look like maybe they're from Vietnam era, these pieces of this helicopter that come flying, they just pelt and pummel and just pelt down across you. And as this happens, you feel the ionic shields ripple and shake with it. You can see parts of the things thrown break through, bounce off of your exterior. One of them actually hits the visor of your front carapace, and there is a splinter, a spider web that across the edge corner of your visor. So with your bulk being 12, some of that damage is kind of deflected. So you're going to take 1 towards your overall bulk score is what happens. But
Oh, and I just looked it up. A
Yeah.
space is 100 feet.
oh well, there we go.
Oh my god!
Even better. Even better. So yeah. Can Kong hit that? Yes. Love it. All right, so in that cockpit, Ranger Beta, Ranger Delta, you have faced kaiju before. You have faced monsters that would haunt the dreams of men and women who do not pilot Jaegers. This is a gorilla, and yeah, it just rained all kinds of hell down on you guys. So what do you guys want to do?
How are we even functioning right now?
Right. No, you are functioning. You, like I said, you felt that impact. You can see some of the systems flash. Some of the proximity alarms go off as maybe there's things that are stuck in your exterior chassis, but nothing that's taking you down quite yet. I will say, though, that you can tell both from the look of this creature as well as the fact that it's not emitting any sort of radiation signature, that this is not a kaiju. This is, in fact, some sort of natural beast, ape that exists here. Why it's so big? That remains to be seen.
I eat my
Alright.
Wheaties.
Oh yeah. Eat your spinach, kids.
What's that?
Eat your spinach, kids.
Right?
Come on, he's King Kong. Everyone knows that he eats oh my god, what is that cereal? Grape
People.
Ape. Eats Grape Ape.
Great babe. That's it. Absolutely.
I was gonna say I ate Popeye, and he was,
Yeah, that could be too.
I have a potential idea here, Miko. What we should do? Shoot it.
Yes, because you guys are combined, connected on the drift, you are able to actually, unlike typical games, you are actually allowed to kind of coordinate your movements and work together on a certain level. In other games, this might be considered metagaming or cheating, but not so much with piloting a Jaeger together. So that's helpful.
Let me see how. I want to quickly see how tall our Jaeger might actually be, because I don't think he's 70 feet.
Oh no, he's way bigger than that.
Oh. I do not want to get into a melee with this thing. Possibility here, comrade. We have the missiles. Fire those.
Well, we got to get closer. The
How
missiles
much
ain't gonna do squat at this range. We got to move in. So I think since I'm going first technically, I think I'm going to activate our ionic reinforced musculature to increase our movement speed, so we actually can move, because our normal speed is 3, and this will at least give us 5, which you had said that we were 14 spaces away before, so not going to help us too much, but it's at least better than nothing.
Well, you can choose to dash, take the dash action, which is basically move twice to get closer. That would kind of coordinate the two of you working together to get your movements to get you closer, but that would get you basically 10 squares instead of the 5.
Right.
But
And we're
you
just
just move in
moving
a straight line,
line.
they'll give you your momentum. So
Yeah, we have to use our momentum to do that. Would Adam still be able to like fire off the cannons?
I would think piloting it to do the dash would require you both to basically be giving up your full action. However, I would say that Adam could probably, do some sort of minor action or some sort of bonus action, something like try to do a scan or reconfigure something. But I think to actually attack while running would take a little bit more coordination than you guys currently have from this initial attack.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got to get closer. So I'm going to go for the ionic reinforced musculature and speed us up.
All right.
That's a 14. Is that enough to? I don't know what the DCs are for any of these things that we're rolling for.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's not very large because you guys pilot this Jaeger all the time. The checks for this are usually a lot higher if it's like you're learning how to do it. But you guys are both practiced in this Jaeger, so they're not hugely high. They're sitting at like a 10 right now.
Okay.
So so you fire it up, and there is a wave of different coils in the legs that charge up and show that you guys are powering them up, and you do continue. You start moving forward. It does, like you said, like a geriatric grandma at first, and then it starts picking up momentum, getting faster and faster, and starts surging with a little bit of a whirring and a charging sound through the legs and lower back of the Hyperion as it moves closer. Did you want to do anything minor during this charge, Adam, or no?
So I'm seeing.
While you're thinking about that, I just wanted to. So I was looking up how Jaegers take damage, and
Yeah.
you all actually
please
take the
tell us.
damage.
We
You split it as psychic damage,
Oh, yes, that actually makes a lot more sense based on the lore of the series.
and then
yeah.
once you're unconscious, then you take no damage, but then your Jaeger takes system trauma,
Oh, okay,
like
that's
ripping off your arms and stuff.
yes, so that's where that big number came from. Yes. So yeah, I skipped a step. That is on me. So
No,
okay,
that's
so
fine.
The damage on that was, you said, was what, 29?
Sure.
And
Let's do
then
20. We'll do 28 since that's easily
Yeah.
spreadable. So you're each going to take 14
Well-
points of psychic damage.
but our AV knocks that down by 4, right?
Yes, so it's going to be 10 points each of psychic damage from the recoil of the impact on the device as it recoils through you because you are connected to it.
Okay.
Nice catch, Jeremy, because that really could
Yeah.
affect the outcome of the battle if you guys take. The other thing I just did to you guys was a lot more damage, really, in retrospect. So that's good you found that. So thank you for that. Okay, we got so much to keep track of. We do what we
Right.
can.
Right.
As
It
a,
is-
as a,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something I could do. I still have the. Could I throw the helicopter sigh as a bonus?
Yeah, I'll say you can do that. Go ahead. And, yeah, go ahead and do
Gonna
that.
see if I can yeet it at Kong.
Absolutely.
Yeet.
Oh yeah, and our Titan, or our Jaeger rather, is between 250 and 300 feet tall.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
You're a monster.
Alright, we're gonna throw that. I'm assuming that's just using strength.
Yeah, just go ahead and make a strength roll. Because it's like a thrown weapon. Yeah, you basically would just do a strength roll for that.
That's a 19.
Okay. Kong, that hits you, I assume, correct? With
It
your
does.
defense score?
It does.
Yep. So yeah, the arm winds up and it actually kind of whips around itself and then releases it. And as the helicopter pieces go, the propeller starts to spin and whir, almost like a saw blade. It shoots through the air and it turns. It comes right at you, Kong. We're gonna say it's an improvised weapon, so the damage for that, we don't really have that in front of us, but I'm gonna say the damage for that is going to be 4d6.
And it was so close. Like, he sees you coming, and he sees you raise your arm, and begins like pounding the ground as you're getting closer. And then that thing flies towards him, and he just reaches his arm up to like almost block it, but then it like bites into his flesh. What'd you get?
That is 19 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay. Does Kong have any sort of natural armor value? I believe he does.
Like reduction?
Mm-hmm. No, he doesn't have an armor value score.
Yeah, he doesn't have an armor value score.
Oh, I thought he did. Okay. All right.
He's just beefy.
Right?
He's just beat. Just got hit points to spare. You got it. Alrighty. Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a speaker input for Jaegers, but if there
Sure.
is, over the speaker you hear in Swahili, "Undaka nyana wewe," which is "way you ape."
I love it.
It's
I
weird
love
because Kong actually understands Swahili.
it. Hey, he might.
He
knows
might,
sign language.
yeah, right?
He knows that if he's still on Skull Island, he does not know sign language at this moment.
Oh,
That's fair.
That's true. That's true. Great point. Oh yeah. Okay, so with that being said, Kong, how would you like to react?
Well, that sucked. Are they within 10 spaces, would you assume?
They are now
We
that they
would be
moved
now.
up.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hate that.
Yeah,
Then
this big thing. Now, as far as you can tell, Kong, this is just one big thing,
right.
and
Right.
it looks like a guy. It's running at you basically.
When the big metal man that's destroying my island gets close enough, I begin running and I take 2 big steps and then I just launch myself through the air, soaring towards them.
Mhm.
And I'm not totally sure how you're going to do this. I need them to essentially do a athletics check or an acrobatics. So I don't know how you want to do that.
What exactly are you attempting to do specifically?
I'm going to grapple them and drag their asses to the ground.
Nice. I love that. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's have you guys do that then. This one won't take up your action. This pretty much be like a reaction. What you can do is, I would say you could pretty much either have one of you be the main on it and have the other one assist, or you could both try to roll separate, kind of control either parts of the Jaeger, as it were, because you both kind of operate each half of it, I guess you could say.
What do you say? Do you want to have one of us assume direct control and then the other brain assist? Or do you want to do left and right arm?
I'm fine with left and right arm.
Let's do left and right arm.
All right, cool. Let's have each of you make a check for that.
That is a 19 for me.
Okay.
That is... Go back up to Delta. Oh, my athletics is good. That is a 23 for me.
Nice.
Okay.
So as I slam into you, you probably feel like the rocking a little bit, but I don't manage to drag you down, and you are not grappled.
Yeah, so this gorilla, he lands, and he's maybe, we'll say, 20 or 30 feet shorter than you, but he's not backing down. He grabs onto you, you kind of grapple each other for a moment. Yeah, you're not completely grappled, but you are in those throes of just grappling and moving around one another. And in that moment, as you're squaring off, there is this primal look that Kong, well, you don't know it's Kong, but we know it's Kong, that this gorilla gives you. It looks deep in, and Kong, you see that within, through the eyes of this thing, are 2 people inside this thing. This is not one foe, this is 2 working together in some sort of bigger creature to try to kill you. This is weird. You're not sure, but these small things that come to the island every once in a while, they do weird things, so you're not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
And and as the 3 of you have this moment where you square off against one another, and you have this moment of this primal savage, 2 animals looking at one another, trying to size one another up. Suddenly, on the Hyperion, there is a proximity alarm that begins to go off. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I'll say,
A
because
little late. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll say that because of where you're positioned, that Barnes, you will see that there is an alarm coming up saying that there is a radioactive signature approaching from behind this gorilla that you guys are fighting, and it is
Great.
growing in strength.
Awesome.
It's going to be your turn.
Okay, before we get into that, I just realized something that we did not do at the beginning, and
Oh,
this
man.
could dramatically affect how
Okay.
how well we do things. We didn't
handshake.
do our neural handshake and determine how well we sync.
Oh.
Oh, that's true. I had you guys already synced. We didn't really
in a
determine how good it was.
flashback
But yeah.
scene.
The benefit, like
That's right.
it doesn't matter what we get in the sense of like we are going to be synced, we are going to be piloting, but the effect of our sync determines things like what we were just rolling.
Yes.
Because we're both always supposed to roll for everything.
Mhm.
And then the benefit of the sync is it determines what we do for the checks.
Nice.
So
Absolutely.
should we
Yep.
go ahead and do that now?
Let's do that. Yes. In this moment, as you're squaring off, as you hear the proximity alarm going off, you do call back. You refocus yourselves. You think back to that moment where you did, in fact, sync with one another. Let's roll to see how that went in that moment.
So what is our relationship with each other at this point? Because we're decently experienced. We've been piloting together. Does that qualify as a close relationship?
What do you 2 think? Do you 2 think that you have been piloting this long enough to have a relationship like that? I would assume that you would, based on way we presented it, but I don't want to be presumptuous. So
I mean, I'm just
I would-
thinking that Pete or Adam got stuck with Pete because he's the old vet and Pete was like the new guy, and Pete has basically just been like idolizing Adam for however much time they've been training together, trying to learn how to do this shit and do it correctly. So
And while Adam views Pete probably as in the same way of like, you're just a kid getting thrown into a terrible situation, so the least that I can do is make sure that you're equipped to handle it. So they probably do have a pretty close relationship. It seems not that much to other people, but it's like, no, that's just how we are.
it's the age difference that gives them the odd feeling about it.
Yeah.
All right, so then we have to do a d20 check plus the highest of our intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, and then we get a +5 additional modifier on top of that.
excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Nice. I got a
Oh.
26.
Ooh, that is
I
nice.
got between my intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whichever one's your higher one. Yep.
That would be scrolling down. That would be a 23.
Nice. So we have a perfect handshake. So in a perfect handshake, we have a amazing baseline sync, and whenever we make any of our checks or attack rolls or saves, we both roll and we take whichever pilot had the best result.
Mhm.
So we essentially have we act as one, but we have an advantage on it because of how good the handshake was.
Nice. Love it.
And just to clarify, I had to look it up because it was pestering me. I know that Kong's size has changed throughout the years, but in this universe, he is 354 feet tall.
Oh, so he is bigger.
my
Okay. All
god!
right. Okay. Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Let's
Cool.
go!
That's it.
My boy!
Kong is in fact
Right?
king of this island, bitches.
He's about the same height as Godzilla in this universe, but shorter than previous Godzillas.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And taller than some
like
other
freaking-
Godzillas.
I love it.
Boy!
Hey, you know, we're playing fast and loose with the rules. You know, a Jaeger
Right.
would never want to throw down with Kong in a real life situation, you know? So, you know.
You mean he's taller than a 5'6" Asian man in a puppet outfit?
I hate that my brain went taller than 1954, 85, and have to show up.
Yes, exactly. Alrighty. All right, so now that we are all, so
Right.
now that we're all in the right kind of sync, we're all
Right.
synced with one another with the rules now.
Yeah.
What did you want to do then? As you see the proximity alert, you snap back to the present. You feel the connection again as the two of you kind of refocus, rezen yourselves, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And what do you want to do in this moment, Pete?
New threat coming in hot, and I think we activate the anti-kaiju missile launcher point blank range. Just bombard to at the very least, even if we can't hurt him, you know, create some flak to potentially let us escape from the immediate proximity of this massive gorilla.
Okay, I love it. I love it. All right. Alrighty. So, yes, indeed. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that. So yeah, you're gonna go ahead and you activate it. You bring it up, I guess you could say. But you're saying that you both are gonna roll, take the better of the two. That's how this is working.
Yep.
Cool.
That is a 19 for me.
That is a. Scroll back down. I keep looking between the two things.
Sure.
Where'd you go? Where are my weapons? There. That is a 18 for me.
Okay. So 19 is what you got on that. Yeah.
Does
now
that
you-
what's Kong's defense?
right?
That hits.
Okay. So that's going to be 4d12 explosive damage.
Nice.
The PV value does not matter because Kong apparently doesn't have any AV.
Right.
And there is no extra special effect here, so nice. So that is a total of 31 points of damage.
Okay.
But we can only do this twice.
Ah.
Save the other ones.
Yes, you point blank, you take that left arm and you stick it right into this gorilla's chest and just unleash it. Just a barrage of electromagnetical pulses that shoot out, blast across his fur. Kong, you feel it. You felt worse than this, however, but you do feel it, and some of that energy as it bounces off of you, it does ripple and move around your body. You can feel it kind of singe and score through parts of your arm and part of your side. And as this happens, you kind of get knocked back for a moment. You semi-turn, and as you turn, in the corner of your eye, you see the beast that you were looking for. You thought it was these men, but now you actually see this beast as it emerges in a similar path to where you had just come down over the ridge. It's coming up out of the ground, and as it does, you see the ground splits and melts and gives in upon itself, starting to bubble and churn into slag as this creature, some sort of intense heat radiating out of it. It begins to burrow up out of the ground like some sort of strange bullet creature as it moves into the area. And I would say that you and the Jaegers, you have both seen this type of kaiju before, so you are aware of what exactly this kind of kaiju is, but this is much bigger typically than a Raijin would typically be. Raijin, you know, are kaiju that specifically have the ability to harness and control electricity. Sometimes electricity that is fired at them they can harness and use and redirect against the attackers. So you definitely have your work cut out for you with this large gorilla, and now a energy controlling kaiju that is coming up, entering the fray as well. So let's continue this, shall we?
Were we able to also drift a few steps back as the explosions rocked?
Absolutely, yeah. It pushed Kong away from you, and you guys did take a couple of steps back to steady yourselves, reassess the situation. You do see the Raijin coming all the way up out of, and you see it readying itself. It's prepared, and as it comes out onto its forward legs, it throws its head back. A huge roar that ripples through. There's energy that sifts and flows out of its mouth, almost like smoke, as it looks around and sees the three of you. And it's still going to be Adam's turn, because he's next.
Can I shoot it with the revolution cannons?
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna shoot it with the revolution cannons.
Okay.
I only got a 13 on my check.
I got a 16 on mine.
Okay, 16. And now this is at this kaiju, correct? I would assume.
Yes.
Okay.
The focus now went to the Raijin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as you turn the right arm across this gorilla's body, it looks like to the casual observer that you're going to punch him, but you actually move past him and fire. And as you fire, much to your surprise, quick, fast, and agile, despite the fact that it's so large, this Raijin skitters off to the side, and the pulse shoots and scores down across the sand and deflects into the jungle nearby. There is dirt and sand that sprays up around you all, and it is not hit. It narrowly dodges out of the way.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just so you know, because the revolution cannons are paired, we technically both fire them, and so one of us can hit and one of us can miss in the paired cannons. So, or we can both hit, or we can, like just happened, we can both just miss.
Yes, in this case, you both did miss. Yep. That's okay though. That's okay.
I'll just, as a free action, I'm just gonna turn my head to look to Kong. It's just like, are we still doing this?
Yeah, Kong has looked from you to it, and in Kong's mind, it was thinking about ripping your head off and like squeezing you like a mango and like making the insides drippy into his mouth, and he was kind of looking forward to that. But this thing is very not very good, and he is going to move towards you. So I do have a question. Now that you have verified that there are people inside, does that technically make a Jaeger an object? Just curious.
Well,
I
let's
hate
do this.
Question.
Let's
I
have
love it.
Kong go ahead and
I love
make
this question.
a wisdom check.
Oh, a wisdom check from Kong. I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yeah.
To Kong, anything is an object.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the last Kong movie, didn't he throw an aircraft carrier that
Right?
had like several thousand
Yeah.
people on it?
That's right.
So
that'd be a 19.
Yeah. You could tell on some level, Kong is not just a beast as we've depicted him as such. Kong is a creature that has been around for thousands of years. He is smart, he is intelligent, he is aware of the world going on around him. When it does come to visit, he knows that there's things that are a little bit different. So yeah, you have enough wherewithal, Kong, to understand that yes, this is just a tool. This is some sort of suit, some sort of covering, some sort of thing that these men are using.
All right. Well, I'll very gently like move forward and like brushes his hand down the face of the Jaeger, and then grabs it by the collar and by the crotch, and is just gonna throw it at this thing.
Fastball special right at the kaiju. I love it.
Right? Is it over 10 away?
Oh no, it's closer than that. It's like
Nice.
4 or 5 squares away. It was coming up to
No
basically
disadvantage.
yeah, it was basically come up to like shank you from behind. It was basically trying to flank you, I guess you could say, but you guys have interceded.
We're gonna hit this
And-
thing flying
and
at 2,000 feet.
and let me just point out the traits that Comet Hyperion has.
Mhm, yeah,
Awkward,
please.
awkward,
Awkward.
and bulky.
Yep.
So that would be a 32. One shy of a
Jesus
crit. One shy of a crit.
I love that.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Does
so-
Brock
that-
Lesnar just threw the steel steps at Rey Mysterio.
yeah, so you guys inside the Jaeger, you could tell that this gorilla, it looks at you, it has a look of understanding, like, yes, you are friends. You're not here to hurt me. We can do this
Maybe
together.
he wants peace.
Yes, yeah, you think, yes, this is turning around. We have an ally now. It does. He touches you, he rubs his hand down your face, and then grabs a hold of your chest, and whoo, just chucks you. And you guys go ass over end, spinning and flowing through the air. You slam back first right into this kaiju, and there is a cacophonous boom. You feel the impact all throughout the inside as you are all partially rocked and almost knocked free of your mooring as you slam into this thing.
You know, just to prevent us from going prone, because if you're gonna have us roll prone, our foot spikes activate. Just as soon as we land on our feet, just.
Yes. And you slam it. Yes, Kong has a victory roar,
Right.
pounds on his chest a bunch. And yeah, you guys do. You hit into the kaiju, knock it back, you roll up and over it, spiral and somersault, and you get to where your feet touch first. Spikes flick out to the front, almost like giant pythons, grip into the sand and rock, and you bend with your momentum and snap yourselves back forwards. You are standing upright just behind the kaiju.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to jump.
Oh, he's got a bonus action too. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going
Yeah.
to jump 8 spaces towards this strange creature.
Mm-hmm. Kong finishes pounding on his chest. He leaps up and closes the distance between where this creature is standing, and he slams into the dirt directly in front of it. So as the creature steadies itself from your Jaeger rolling up over its body, it shakes its head, and right as its eyes focus again, there is Kong just feet away from its face. And,
So right now it's between us and Kong.
it is between the two different opposing sides, indeed. So, it's what it tried to do when its turn did not work. So it's going to go ahead and be the top of the round. So, Pete Barnes inside the Jaeger, you guys are up on your feet, so you're able to you don't like lose an action or anything. So it is your turn, sir.
Okay.
I was just helping you all get closer.
Yeah.
I think Pete just looks over at Adam, like doing his damnedest not to be like shitting his pants at this
I'm
moment.
so glad I wore my brown pants today.
Adam, meanwhile, is just like looking forward, just flushed with sweat underneath the helmet, like. Ugh.
And
All right.
Adam hears in his head simultaneously as Pete speaks and says, "Thrust kicker," and he activates the thrust kicker.
Yes. I love it.
All right, so we both have to roll melee attack on that. I got a 21.
Take yours. I got a 9.
I'll take the 21 then. Does that hit?
Oh yes, it's gonna definitely hit this kaiju.
Okay, so this will be 2d12 bludgeoning damage with a PV of 2. And no extra special effects or anything. So that's 14 points of damage.
Okay. Oh, on the wrong page. Excellent. 14. It's penetrating. How much you said? 4?
2.
Oh, 2.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. 14. Okay. Excellent. And yeah, you thrust kick right into this thing's face. Its head jerks off to the side. You can see that some of its exterior, it almost looks like plating that you would see on a Jaeger, but this is like scaling almost. It shatters off. It's not enough to take it down, but you can tell this thing is pretty tough. And it slowly just turns its face back towards you guys.
Did it take any significant damage at all from us landing on it? That we could tell?
Ooh, yeah. How much do you guys weigh?
We're a heavy Jaeger.
So a lot.
Oh yeah,
I
I guess I actually need to tell you the damage from his attack, don't I?
Yeah.
Because I didn't do that.
Yeah, we all got so wrapped up in how
do you-
badass that was.
Right? Do you want me to use average or roll for it?
I'll let you decide.
Let's just take
Roll
average,
for it,
speed
roll for
things up. It is roll for it. All right.
Roll for it. It's more fun.
Go for it, because you might get higher, yeah.
I am a D&D player. Roll dice.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like if Francis Ngannou picked up an apartment building.
So it's actually rolling multiple. That is 29 bludgeoning
Okay.
damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just so you know, we are over 2,000 tons
Yeah, that's true. Heavy.
of weight.
Yeah.
Like, I have to wonder if things like weight matter when you get to that size. When you have like
Right?
two Titanic things and they're just like picking up buildings and throwing them at each other.
Yeah, probably not so much. Yeah. So it took some substantial damage. As it recoils its face from getting punched, by getting kicked, you are going to notice that as part of that plating flew off, there was this bluish black blood that sprayed across as well. And as it does, Kong, there is suddenly a strange smell in the air, some sort of weird acrid smell, something that doesn't smell normal. It smells almost like something burning, something toxic, maybe. The two of you in the Jaeger are aware that kaiju blood is toxic. There's a certain level of toxicity. As the blood is exposed, it actually can cause damage to living creatures and beings that are nearby. You would know that this specific kind of kaiju has high toxic blood, so it's pretty dangerous to do a lot of damage like that to it. But you might have to. It did seem to hurt a little bit, but yeah. Okay, so that was that was Pete. Adam shot it or kicked it. No, what did he do?
We kicked it.
Adam kicked
Adam
it.
kicked it.
Well, Pete kicked it.
Pete kicked it.
Adam hasn't gone yet.
Right, Adam.
Kick it again.
Cool.
It worked the first time.
Right.
That's a natural 20.
Oh, snap, baby.
I mean, I guess I don't need to roll.
Do it anyway. See if we get 2 nat 20s.
Right?
Oh,
I did.
man.
I did not. I got a 2.
All right.
It's got, hey, Nat 20 has 2 in it.
Yeah.
I guess I
How-
count as the
how-
0 in that case.
Oh.
Wow. I didn't want to say
How
anything,
we-
but
How we doing crits for this for damage?
yeah, it's double damage. You can either roll once or times it by 2, or you can just roll all the dice twice.
Just gonna roll the dice twice.
Yeah, so just like a typical physician, all the dice get doubled. Things like a strength bonus or a size bonus or something like that. It's just a static number. Only the dice values get doubled.
Here's a question.
Some things are triple value.
While
too.
he's adding up his dice,
Yeah.
does my vital strike count now with Kong on our side?
Ooh, interesting. Let the audience know exactly what your vital strike does.
It's basically like sneak attack. It's
Ooh.
when I'm hitting a target that there's an ally within 5 feet of, I get to deal an additional 3d6 damage.
I would like to think that would in fact apply right now for sure. Is there damage you want to add then from when you kicked it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can add another 7 points of damage from
okay.
kicking it in the temple.
Okay. Yes. And when you did that, you said it had armor, it had piercing value of 2. You had said.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that's it. Okay, just so I.
So
keep
the
track, 'cause it's
2
creepy.
also applies to this kick that Adam is doing.
Right. Yep.
So that would be 27 points of damage. Then.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
27 points of bludgeoning damage. And I wanted to check the thing real quick.
Yes. So as that first kick hits it and its head comes back, like I say, it's snarling. The the Jaeger actually uses that momentum of that kick, and it jumps up off the ground, and it spins, and the other foot kicks into its face, and as he twirls and lands in the ground, still behind it. But it almost, for lack of a description, looks like some sort of kung fu movie jump spin hook kick as it lands in the same
Which
position.
is hilarious for a heavy Jaeger.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Now,
Just for
here's-
scaled, by the way, every 1 point of damage that we do is equivalent to 100 points
Right.
of hit point damage in normal D&D terms.
Yes, this is brutal stuff going on right now. Absolutely.
Now here's going to be something funny. Is I've realized that our talents we can utilize with our Jaegers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use extra effort,
Okay.
and I'm going to kick him again.
Yes, extra effort, of course, giving you another action.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Just keep on pummeling. I love it.
That's cocked. There we go. That's a 16? Yeah.
A 16?
Yeah.
Okay. From that jump hook kick that you did before, you go to kick back out, and this time the Raijin, not liking that at all, it moves and shifts, and it slaps its tail up and deflects the foot away. And then it is going to be its turn. So it looks at all of you, snarling. It does a multi-attack action as it is going to attack the two of you inside the Jaeger as well as Kong. So it's going to make an attack with its claws as it snaps out at you guys. Oh, I keep turning the wrong page here. I need this one right here. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, against the Jaeger is going to be a 24 against your defense score, which I believe is a 17.
16. So
16.
easily hit.
Okay. So the damage is going to be. 1 second, I'm on the wrong thing again. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a 26. I looked at the wrong. It's plus 8. Not plus
Oh, in that
6.
case, you missed.
Yeah, yeah.
right,
Then you
exactly.
missed. You've gone over our. How
Okay,
dare you.
you're gonna take. Let me roll. Yeah, you're gonna take 31 points of damage as it bites down into your arm. So there is like a rippling. I'm gonna say, for the sake of argument, that is going to be your left arm. So it's the side. So basically, it feels like something is actually physically biting into you. Pete,
Was that
but
31 before or after our armor value?
that is before the armor value of, you guys have an armor value of 4?
4. Right, so
Okay.
that knocks it down to 27, and then we split that in half. Do we round down?
Well, first it has piercing value of 3.
Oh, okay, so it only reduces it by 1. So
Right.
we both take 15.
Yeah, so you feel that spread out through you, and then it is going to, as its bonus action, it's going to continue its multi-attack It is going to try to attack you again. It's a lot lower, so that's actually going to be only a 14 to hit.
Misses.
That misses, thankfully.
Yeah.
Pete
yeah.
Pete is not looking too good, by the way.
Okay. Good to know. Yes. And yeah, it just throws its head back. And that blue energy comes out. And you can see then that as the blue energy comes out, there was a like a sound of something beginning to charge up around. Kong, you can see that this beast is terrible and it is dangerous. What would you like to do?
Did it also attack Kong?
You know, I was gonna have it attack Kong, but I realized it says it's the claws are the way that the multi-attack works.
Oh, gotcha.
It has to be
Okay.
on the same
Gotcha.
opponent, I guess you could say. So luckily it missed. But yeah, it has 2 attacks with the multi-attack, 2 claws basically.
So I kind of want to like Hulk Loki smash this, just like grab it and just like
has a tail.
smash it, right?
Okay.
I feel like I might need to grapple it to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give it a try.
So it needs to do either an athletics or an acrobatics versus mine.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be doing an athletics test.
And I am going to do mine. Let me double check this. Recklessly, so I have advantage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Kong would be a barbarian.
Oh,
Right?
for sure. For sure. For sure. Okay. Over here, it has got a 19.
26.
Oh yeah.
So then
Yes.
I'm gonna do a improvised weapon smash, and essentially using the ground as the weapon as I like smash it back and forth.
Yeah, so yeah, as it's slicing into this man, you grab a hold of its tail, heft it up off the ground, and yeah, you turning and grabbing onto the tails, and you just slam its body square into the surface of the beach next to you.
That is 16 plus 29 to hit it.
Oh yeah.
All right, gotta roll dice. Hang on.
All right.
All the dice. All the dice.
It's just the Godzilla versus Ghidorah picked up by the tail.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
35 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
We've killed a Tarask like 8 times.
Dragons, what's that?
Rask.
And yeah, you do slam it onto its back, and as it does, there is a snapping sound as something within its carapace breaks away. And as you let go, it starts to roll back over onto its feet. You can see a large section of its back is all smashed and broken away, revealing tender meats beneath.
I am going to keep it grappled, but I mean, I have its tail, so it could easily flip itself up, and
Okay.
but it just can't move. Its
Speed of 0.
speed is 0.
That's fine. Absolutely. Excellent. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and have top of the round again, Pete. Yeah, you are feeling a little bit dizzy. You're starting to black out a little bit. There's that red around the periphery of your vision.
Yeah.
Part of your systems are flickering, like they're maybe having difficulty staying on.
I think through gritted teeth, Pete is just going to raise up the arms of Hyperion and go for the taking a few steps back and just try to unleash some cannon barrage. He really wants to try to put at least a few feet of distance between themselves and this beast and both of these beasts.
I mean,
Because correct me if
does
I'm-
a few
Hyperion
feet
is, like,
matter?
the smaller of the 3 combatants here, right?
Is that? I'm sorry.
We're the smallest of the 3 combatants, right?
Yeah, I would probably say so because the Raijin also is Titan size. It's going to be a titanic creature.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So
have the exact
we're
target.
we're
Yeah,
not used to being the small guys in the yard.
right.
And so I think Pete's wanting to take a few steps back, and he's using the cannons to kind of help enforce that. So, you want to help me out here, Adam?
Yep. Revolution and cannon shots.
Yeah, gonna need some help too.
That's gonna be a. That's a 20 on my end, dirty 20.
Okay, well, his hit, mine did not.
Okay. Good to know. Good to
Let
know.
me see what that damage looks like.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll it. I already got it
2d6.
out. Yeah. So
you
it's
got it.
it's oh, plus I get my 3d6 bonus into that. So it's currently 7, and then the additional 3d6 is that was good. That's another 12. So that's 19. And it's PV of 3.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, the barrage goes off across. You guys just unleash both of the arm blasts at it, and the one does manage to hit and connect into it, part into that fleshy back. As I mentioned, there is a sizzling sound as the energy goes down inside, burning away some of the muscle beneath. The creature shrieks and howls in pain. Kong, you can feel it twitching as you grab a hold of it, and you can continue to hold onto its tail as it twitches and moans and shakes. And
Barbecue.
yeah. Alrighty. And Adam, what would you like to do?
It's our target is grappled. Our target is bleeding. We have one more use of that.
You're thinking the missile launcher?
I'm thinking the missile launcher.
So for what it's worth, the missile launcher does have a radius of 2, which means that you will also hit Kong, which is why I didn't use it.
That's fair.
Can't you use some meta magic or something to sculpt her? Wrong game.
DM, I have a question for something funny.
I love
comes
something
the shenanigans.
funny. Here we go.
So, Kong's holding onto its tail.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the gravity sling could potentially grab its head and just start pulling in.
You guys want to put this thing on the rack, basically? You want to just pull it and stretch it apart?
Yeah. Why not?
All right, yeah. Okay. I will say, though, however, since you're using this as a combat action to try to actually do that, I'm going to make you roll for this, as opposed to just grabbing it and snatching it away like you did with the helicopter debris. But, yeah, we could do this. We can do this for sure.
All right. I'm going to assume this is going to be a strength check.
Oh, yeah.
Good thing I'm good at strength checks.
Hey, I actually rolled a natural 20.
Hey!
Nice.
Good
I rolled
time.
I rolled it just in case, and that's a dirty 20 on my end. So you were taking that nat 20. Let's
I
go.
love it. I love it. I love it.
Nat 20 for a total of 23.
All right. Yeah, so yeah, the arm recoils back out. It stretches out that way that it does, all the discs elongating out of it as it snatches onto the thing's head. And as it recoils to snap back into place, it stretches the kaiju out to its full length. And you could feel that the arm is about halfway back in, and you could feel it start to resist as it's pulling against the kaiju's head. It is trying to stumble and trying to shriek and trying to pull free. And in that moment, in a panic, it's going to try to unleash the burst out of itself, although it's not fully charged. It's going to try to release it to try to get out of this. So I would need Kong and the Jaeger to please make Constitution saving throws.
Unsave. I can work with a con save.
Wow.
I got a 14, which is better than I thought I would get.
Kong does not have con as one of his saves. It's up
That
with-
is
okay.
shocking to me.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
because he's
by
fucking beefy as
itself,
fuck.
but by itself, it's still higher than his other saves. But
Right. What does he have as his
18.
proficiency save? Strength, I would assume?
Dex and Wisdom.
Oh no, wait, mine's my con? Oh my god. Sorry. That's a 21.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
All right, so
25 from Kong.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what did you get, Pete?
I got like a 14, so we get to use the 21
21.
from Adam.
Excellent. Okay, so you guys are going to take half damage of the little bit that is powered up. So it's only going to be 3d6.
Oh, it's only.
Only.
Mm.
11, you guys are going to take half damage. So it's going to go ahead and be 6 points of energy as the electricity surges out around this thing and just ripples across your bodies. The kaiju, because it rolled so high, it doesn't have to make a secondary systems failure check because of the fact that it is an EMP blast. So it's fine, but it does ripple across. You see the stuff within the Jaeger does flicker as if it's trying to go off, but the backup systems and your guys' beliefs in yourselves are enough to keep everything on. Kong, you just feel this as hot fire burning across your body. So, I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't hurt a lot, but yeah, it just feels like heat. This would be, if you grabbed a flaming stick or something.
Okay.
And that's what it did, just had a pure panic. And this thing, you guys can tell, is on the last throes. Yeah, what would you like to do? It is now Kong's turn. You are the last in the round.
So like its back is all wounded and open, exposed.
Burning,
With
singed,
one
yeah.
hand, like he's had both hands on the tail. He just takes one hand around the tail and keeps it there. And he reaches forward. And he's just gonna like try and plunge his hand in and grab its spine and just rip it out and go full predator on it.
Nice, pure Kong style. I love it.
We'll call this unarmed smash.
Yeah, that sounds good. This requires an attack roll, correct?
It does.
I'm going to give you advantage because your allies are grappling it as well, holding it steady.
Perfect. That is a 26.
Oh yeah.
Like
You
Kong needed advantage. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Plus
you
13.
You plunge your hand all the way up to the wrist in this thing's back. You feel yourself close in along the bony protrusions of its spinal column, and as you rip it free, what's the damage on that?
35.
Oh my
Jesus
goodness.
Christ!
Is it still alive, or did that do it?
And those of you in the Jaeger barely holding on to your senses as the power within is starting to flicker and surge, you do see this gigantic gorilla reach in, grab a hold of this thing's spinal column, and with just barely a grunt, just rip the entire thing free. There's snapping and popping and stretching, tendrils of muscle that rips free. As he pulls the spinal column out, it disconnects from the base of the skull, and with a sound, it comes all the way out. The creature twitches once as it disconnects and then goes completely limp and drops, defeated, dead. Another trophy for the king of the island to the sand.
So the thing about it dropping is this all this tensile strength that's trying to pull it backwards.
Oh, yeah.
It's
head,
backwards
right?
in the ocean.
Yes. It has that last little bit. The arm recoils the rest of the way, and it pulls the creature's head clean off, and it flies back behind you guys as the body does drop. Kong holding onto its tail limply. And this foe has been dispatched. There is that bluish black blood all over the place, all over Kong's forearm. Again, Kong, it has a little bit of a tingling going on.
Yeah.
But the toxicity of the blood is actually more dangerous the longer it dries, it gets exposed to the air. So there's some time before it's super dangerous, but there is a little bit of that going on already.
Pete being the very intelligent individual that he is, and in hopes that he can he can do a good action and hopefully prevent Kong from, ripping them apart. He is going to hold up a hand in the same way that Kong did earlier when he cannonballed us. And he's going to move forward, and I'm hoping that I can use Sparky with a mechanics check to maybe unlatch one of our CO2 coolant systems in a servo in our forearm and spray CO2 coolant across the limb, because I know that CO2 neutralizes the blood and ichor of kaiju.
Oh,
Kaiju
okay.
Blue, as it was called.
Just before you do that, like, Kong stops and he's holding like a spine in one hand and a tail in the other, and he's just like breathing heavy and he's looking at you like, what you gonna do?
A horror movie villain.
Right? And then you come forward and you like give him a little CO2 bath, and he like reaches his hand up again and like it looks like he's gonna grab you again, but instead he just like taps you on the head, like gently, and like drops the spine, kicks the tail off to the side, and just walks away.
All right, that
Kong.
was
Yeah.
that was different.
I mean, we ain't gonna try to do nothing about this guy, right?
What guy? I do not know what you are talking about.
You saw nothing.
We
Gotcha.
we came to the island. We killed the kaiju. We left the island.
We are in sync, Adam.
Beautiful. And as Kong turns, showing his back to you in a symbol of basically he is not afraid,
Done
he's not
with us?
worried. Yeah, he's moving on. Yeah. He turns and he begins to walk off towards the jungle. He lets go after a bit of the tail as it just flops down to the beach. As he makes his way off into the jungle, the two of you inside the Jaeger have a moment to catch your breaths, regroup, and then it is that you hear, Jaeger Hyperion, this is the Pan-Pacific Operations. We are here to retrieve you. Well, we heard that there was an accident. We picked up that, and the sound gets closer. You can actually see on the horizon other helicopters, like the ones that brought you out here, are coming to take you guys back, I guess you could say.
Man, it's good to hear your voice, PPOC. We gotta check out one thing while you're en route, though. And he looks over at Adam and says, I mean, we gotta go take a look at where the source of that pulse was from, right? Because if a rift is showing up on land and not showing up in the water, that's new, and people gotta know, right? We can walk around the edges of the island, maybe, and not interfere with the big man's territory, maybe.
I get what you mean. One more. Wow, I took your accent for a second. I get what you
Yeah.
mean. Give me one moment. If
It's
you would not,
an infectious accent.
it is. If you would give us a moment, we are going to explore the perimeter of the island to make sure that everything is clear. From there, we can meet you on the. It kind of looks around. East side of the island. Be cautious on approach.
Roger that, Hyperion. We read you loud and clear. Meet in 15. And
Yeah,
you
so
guys-
we head up that way towards where the pulse we had seen the big giant pulse before, in an effort to try to locate any remnants of what might have been a rift that we hope is closed.
Absolutely. You guys make your way through the island, being careful not to tread too harsh onto Kong's land here. As you move in closer to where the top of that hill was, where you first saw King of the Island emerge, you look down. This is the place where you first saw him. You know now he was the one in the silhouette looking down into this area. You can see that there is in fact a rift here on the surface. It would seem that in this little valley here, there was a lake of some sort, which is probably where the rift started, but it has grown in size to the lake is actually dried up, and the rift is showing from deep down within. You can tell, however, by the way that the ground around it looks, that it is starting to shrink back down a little bit. It's not closed, but you do notice that it is smaller in size. But yeah, this looks like definitely this was the spot of the incursion of that giant blast, and clearly where this creature came from originally.
Well, that's new.
Very. And is going to require a lot more tests and studies, but also a lot more Jaegers.
Yeah, I don't know how well that's gonna go over with the residents.
Let us be very clear and very frank here with the resident of this island. We will consider this place his kingdom, and if he wants to deal with incursions, if he requires help, we will accept that. Until that point, and I'm going to have just like, if there's a way to take like an image of what we see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're working out a really like complex system that if Kong sets out a bushel of bananas on the eastern shore every third day, everything's fine. But if there is no banana on the third day, then there's been an incursion.
Right. That day.
Or maybe we just have to show up with a helicopter full of bananas.
Right.
Oh, there you go. I love that. I love that. Yeah, so yeah, you do take evidence of the rift to bring it back to the powers that be, so to speak, to make sure that you're able to study it, figure out what's going on. Is there anything else that you guys want to do on the island in these last moments as you see the helicopters approach to retrieve you?
I want to see if I can get like, if before the helicopter captures us, I want to get an image of, if I capture us, I want to get an image of if I can see where Kong goes, or if I can see Kong just one last snapshot, but just keep it for us.
Okay.
You see this immense flat screen TV, and he's like, he's sitting over there with a Nintendo Switch playing Mario Kart.
Donkey Kong Country.
Right? I feel like he's, I mean, he protects the island, but for the most part, he just wanders around, and so you'd probably see him either chilling or wandering through the forest, over the forest.
Yeah, just a quick image of that, and just as a souvenir for your first trip to an actual island.
Thanks.
Are all islands like this?
Yeah, you guys take a photo, snapshot, as it were, of the king of this island, and it's not unlike that blurry, famous Bigfoot picture where he's like half turned with his arm out. And yeah, you file that away. And in the last moments, now it's midday. It's a nice, bright, sunny day again. The tranquility comes back to Skull Island. The bird song in the air, the wild blowing of the wind through the trees, the palm, and you all see the helicopters approach as they send on the cables and the chains to reconnect you both. You are reconnected, and they begin doing repair procedures on your left side. Sparky trails around from behind for a bit until eventually he reconnects where he first emerged from, just below the left lapel area. And as you are pulled back up into the air, you get one last look at the rift here and wonder what sort of strange thing this might mean. A rift here on the land, visible. And as you are fully taken away from Skull Island, you do in fact look back once more to its king, that massive gorilla known as Kong, as Kong looks up and just has a moment meeting your gaze once more. And yes, we close out the scene. So that will be our conclusion of our playthrough of Everyday Heroes version of Kong Skull Island and the Pacific Rim adventure. The information that we used in our playthrough today is from the cinematic adventures of these two things. The Kickstarter that's currently active, again closing tomorrow, has some new rules. It has two different types of sources within the Legendary Bundle, one specifically for Kong, one specifically for Pacific Rim, where they have new options for players, as well as mini campaign adventure series, as well as new rules that you can use to tell your own story, such as this. So if you like
can get
that,
both.
or you can get both. Yeah, they actually have a great deal. You could buy them individually, or you could buy them together. I actually looked into it. It's actually more cost efficient to just get them both. But yeah, they have a lot of stretch goals unlocked, including like alternate boxes and whatnot. The Kong one, for example, looks like a shipping crate. The Pacific Rim one looks like this really cool hard case with like, I forget what the term is, but like that diamond plating looking stuff on it. They're pretty rad looking. But
Nice.
but yeah, if you
Some
like
really cool dice. I don't know
Yeah,
if they've
they're
unlocked yet. Like the last time I looked, they were like near unlocking, and I'm like, Come on.
I hope so. Yeah, because we're dice goblins over
Right.
here in Wanderer's Haven for sure. But yeah, this was a blast. Again, I was Kevin. I was your game master this evening, and with these cool, awesome players, we got to tell the story for you all. I want to
Woohoo.
thank Evil Genius Games again, and let's go through. Let's introduce and say goodbye. Go ahead, tell everybody who listened and watched where they can find you, where else you're all at out there in the world at large. Let's go and we'll start with Jeremy this time, since you didn't get a proper introduction at the start.
I'm Jeremy. You can find me here on Twitch at Wanderers Haven, or you can find me on Twitter at WHPubs. I feel like I'm saying that right. I feel like it's late and my brain is melting or something. Yeah, or you can head over to whpublications.com for all my publishing stuff. And I do have to say that there was something really just satisfying about playing, a 350-foot tall ape that just smashes everything. Although he did take some really good hits, like without the AV, that was kind of brutal. But nothing like poor Pete. Speaking of Pete, why don't you go next?
Pete feels pretty fucked up. Pete's gonna get back home, and he's gonna get fucked up more.
Right?
That's what I mean.
There we go.
Because that was an
He
experience.
needs some therapy.
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
PLC for sure.
Pete's been in therapy since he joined the Corps, and yeah, that's gonna be a lifelong process. Way too much baggage there, but much like the character, I also have a lot of baggage, but I'm not going to unload that on you fine folks. I have been Miko. This has been a ton of fun. You can find me on all the socials at _AKist_GM. I'm on the production team here at Wanderers Haven and having an absolute blast with all these guys. Check out my socials for some of the cool things that we've got going on, because we have a ton of cool shows, including some regular recurring ones that have just started up that I am very excited for. So check us out. I'm sure you will enjoy.
Nice.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Jhevaunte, you're a busy man. Why don't you tell folks what you're doing?
I'm so busy. Hi everybody, I'm Jhevaunte, the resident TTRPG goblin. I'm in so much stuff. I'm so happy I got to do this. I've actually been a huge fan of Everyday Heroes, running my own stuff with it. So
Nice.
being able to do stuff with kaiju, which are like my favorite things, was awesome. Other stuff that I'm doing, over on the initiative order, I'm on the opposite side of the table. I am DMing a game of Dante's Inferno, Abandon All Hope, a D&D 5e romp through the 9 Circles of Hell,
Nice.
which is going great, and I love it. Equally, you can also find me on opposite Mondays on the initiative order, where I play Dior the Black Arcanite Ranger in our Power Rangers campaign, which is also awesome. I don't know. Can I talk about the thing I'm also doing with y'all?
Yeah. Say whatever you want, my
What?
friend.
So, what channel is this on? But I am a part of the super amazing game of, I'm just pulling up everything, La Not Eterna.
Oh, yes.
La Not I get to play as a character that my mom made back in 3.5, adjusted for this game.
That's
as a little tribute to her, which is awesome.
Yeah, she's a great character.
I love it. I love it so much. I'm so excited I get to do it, and you can catch that on Fridays.
Yes.
Other stuff I'm doing, I've put it up on my social, on my one Twitter, which is at Jhevaunte, Jhev as in Victor, Aunte, which is, I have my own Discord group for when I'm not in streamed games and just want to run games of my own. If you like Everyday Heroes, I'm doing a Gotham-themed Everyday Heroes game that is an
Everything about
opt-in, opt-out. So absolutely, hop in on that if you guys want, or other games that I have throwing out there as well. And I have a bunch of stuff coming in the later months, including a D&D tournament. So
What?
I'm very excited. Yes,
Nice.
it's going to be very, very exciting.
Mhm.
I'm very busy and I love it.
He did say he was everywhere, y'all.
Right?
Thank you so much, guys, for playing today. This was a blast. Again, I'm Kevin, found on the socials at KevRan Games. I'm a game master, a longtime TTRPG nerd, as well as a co-producer, part of the production team over here at Wanderers Haven. I also, as Jhevaunte was mentioning, I am the U.S. ambassador for La Not Eterna, which is a separate Twitch channel. Every Friday, we have a new adventure set in a grim, dark high fantasy world where the sun has not risen in over 161 years, bringing all sorts of new darkness to the land. And Jhevaunte is one of the characters who will venture into this land and hopefully restore balance and bring light back to the people. But again, thank you so very much, Evil Genius Games. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you saw here, check us out at Wanderer's Haven. And if you like what you saw here, please go back that cool Kickstarter because it's awesome. So we can't speak enough great about Everyday Heroes. We love it. We've done some other stuff here on the channel, so check that out. We're going to be doing some other stuff for Everyday Heroes coming up soon too, but we'll get to that when it's ready to come out. But thank you all so very much. Hope you all have an excellent evening and a great tomorrow. So till next time, we'll see you. Good night, one and all.
Bye.